everybody. Happy Sunday. So today I'm combining letters Q and R because there weren't a lot, of Q's. So we're going to do a little mix up of Q and R, and I actually put these in the bowl yesterday. So I really don't have any idea what's in here anymore. So we're going to go. Ready? It's time for relationships and dating from A to Z, the letters Q and R. Ding. Okay. So maybe I should just have that little jingle written. What do you think? Ooh, questions about the past. Questions about the past. We want to know our partner and we want to be known, but your questions about the past have to be based in interest and curiosity and come from a place of really wanting to know your partner. Because if they come from a place of fear, right? If you're asking because you're like, well, so what kind of people have you dated? What you're really saying is, do I measure up? And so that question is really not coming from a place of love and curiosity. It's really coming from a place of fear. So, they say, don't ask anything you really don't want to know the answer to, right? And there's a lot of truth to that. We want to be responsible for the asking. And also, and I think, you might argue with me on this one, but just because somebody asks you a question doesn't make them therefore entitled to the answer, right? I mean, what if somebody asked you, like, what kind of porn do you look at? Do you have to tell them just because they asked? No, you are entitled to a certain amount of privacy. So sometimes there's stories in our past that we don't necessarily want to share because when they exist in somebody else's brain, like let's say you tell somebody a story that was really uncomfortable for you or something, and now that story exists in that person's brain, and you're sort of wondering if they have the same perception of it as you do, and it's just maybe you haven't reconciled the experience in your mind or whatever. Maybe just something that other person has privacy about, like our sexual liaisons and our relationships. There's two people, well, at least two people involved there. I guess that's debatable for some, right? So, everybody's entitled to their privacy. And so really don't ask what you don't want to know the answer to. And remember that anything that happened before you arrived is truly not personal. It can't possibly be personal. It has nothing to do with you. So don't somehow punish that person by twisting it around and now making it about you in the present moment. That is so unfair. That's like setting them up. So, okay. Qualifiers, meaning the list. I think it is beyond important to have a list. And I think it needs to be beyond nice and employed and ready to be serious about relationships. Okay. This is what I hear from a lot of women is they're, and I say, what do you really want? And they're like, well, I just want somebody nice and somebody serious. And I'm like, okay, who's going to really volunteer for that job? So, you want to really think about your qualifiers. What do they mean? How does it feel for somebody to be affectionate in public, or who likes your friends, or how do they talk to your parents when they meet them, or what do they think about, I don't know. I was going to say politics, but whatever. But it's important for you to know how you want to feel in relationship about that, right? You don't want to necessarily date somebody who is like super passionate about politics that are completely opposite of yours, and then all they do is like talk about it all day long. That's going to start creating wedges in your relationship, right? So yeah, qualifiers. I think what I would say with quick advice is, yes, they're important. Yes, go ahead and dream big in the sense that you can be honest about how you really want to feel in relationship on a lot of levels. Okay, so red flags. Oh yeah, red flags, don't ignore them. Really common red flags are angry drunks. That's a red flag. If somebody's really angry when they're drunk, red flag. And that doesn't generally change. That's a quality in somebody that doesn't generally change. And it's you either have to not drink or limit your drinking, or what, this is a real issue. A lot of damage can be done when somebody is an angry drunk, right? That's the problem with it, is you might say like, well, as long as they don't drink, they're wonderful. Well, but when they do, what happens? How much damage is being done at that time? And so that's a really important red flag. Another red flag might be they're not traceable on the internet and they never use credit cards, and there's no record of them anywhere. They're probably engaging in something under the radar. And also, there's this one red flag that I have found to be common. And it's a weird one, because somebody, when a guy is like super into you and like so excited to see you and can't wait to see you, and he books you ahead of time and you're ready to go on Saturday night, and then he suddenly flakes, he probably has an ex-girlfriend in the picture. I'm just saying. Guaranteed sex. Oh, I can still affect her. Oh, I got to do this. And boom, you are moved off a Saturday night. One time he can say he's got the flu. But if it happens twice, definitely an ex-girlfriend in the picture. Just saying. Okay, R for reliability. Reliability. Reliability feels like love, right? Reliability is kind of falls in that almost like the acts of service or quality time, love languages. And I would say reliability, you could almost say emotional reliability in the sense that it's really nice if you aren't living with somebody who you have to walk on eggshells with, right? Kind of you can rely on who they're going to be, who you're going to get when you walk through the door. So I think in so many ways, reliability really translates as love. Like when you can follow through on what you said you were going to do and you're actually there for somebody, that's presence, that's love. So yeah, think in terms of, so if somebody's really unreliable, that's not just a personality flaw that you're supposed to overlook. That's part of, is this relationship what I want? You know, is this who and how is this person in relationship? And if they're really unreliable, that just starts to chip away, right? So you have to be able to communicate how important it is to you. You have to be able to say, you know, when you follow through on what you said that you were going to do, that really feels good to me. It just feels like that really feels like love to me. And then, you know, they might be like, oh, great, I can do that more. They might get better at it. But if they don't, then you have to, you know, really look at that. Okay. Rebounds. Oh, rebounds. Rebounds. What do you, okay. As a topic, rebounds. If you've met somebody, well, okay, you've met somebody, let's say, and you kind of know you're the rebound. If you know you're the rebound and they pull you off Saturday night after a lot of enthusiasm, there's definitely an ex-girlfriend in the picture. You know, if you know that you are rebound material, you need to, and this is guy or girl, you need to like elongate the getting to know each other process, right? You need to be, you don't want to be that person that kind of fills in the vacuum. You know what I mean? Like that person left their life and then like you're taking in that space, because what happens often is that person kind of wants you to pick up where they left off. And so the intimacy and the connectedness and sort of the sharing of their life can sometimes seem like it's on fast forward, and it is, because they're kind of like trying to pick up where they left off with somebody else. So that's, I think, the thing to really look for. And the only solution, if you still are really interested in getting to know this person over time, is to really take your time with it. Really, like, you know, spread out the dates, you know, just see what happens. I mean, man, tell them to call you in 6 months. So, quickies. Ooh, fun and useful. Sometimes in a long-term relationship, marriage, especially with young kids, sex can kind of drop off, and then it becomes sort of the bigger elephant in the room. Like, we haven't had sex in a month. Now we haven't had sex in 2 months. We haven't had sex in 9 weeks. And now it's like such a big deal. Like, how are we going to do this? And there's just so much pressure on it to like go right and to be handled right. And sometimes the best solution is a quickie. It's like, hey, we haven't done this in a while. Let's do this before you go to work and get down to business, whether you're in the mood or not. So, because it just can like break the ice, you know, and kind of make you remember that, like, kind of why you're together, because, you know, we don't want to forget the intimacy. We don't want to forget the sexy part of our relationship. it doesn't always have to be so precious. You know what I'm saying? So, so that can be a real icebreaker if you're kind of in a dry spell with each other. So, quality men, where are they? They are all over the place. Let me tell you, all over the place. Nobody is their best self when they're in the wrong relationship. They aren't. They're not like you could say like, all guys are assholes. Well, then like, why are they all in good relationships now? It's because you weren't your best person because you were in the wrong relationship. He wasn't his best person and he's in the wrong relationship. You got to get clear about what you want and start being a quality human being so that you are on the vibration of quality human beings. And that's what you're attracting. So there are quality men everywhere. And let me tell you, a man who is appreciated by a woman that he appreciates, his quality just goes up every day. A man in love is just the most freaking adorable thing I've ever seen. And men are just amazing and beautiful and giving and wonderful. And of course not all of them are, but not all women are either. We all have our pain. We all have our shadows. So quality men, what do you mean? Do you mean a guy who wants a relationship in 2 weeks? No, actually that's an insecure guy. So if some guy is like asking you to like clear your schedule and, you know, be his girlfriend after 2 weeks, he's probably insecure. And that commitment probably only goes one way. So if you want a quality man, it's going to require a little bit of patience. You want to get to know those layers and really see who he is. So let him show you that he's a quality man. That takes time. So enjoy the process. Romance. Oh gosh, that's what it's all about, isn't it? The romantic aspect of your relationship is what makes it different than your other relationships. And okay, I'm gonna just use some generalities for ease of conversation, okay? And your sexual connection is a big part of that romance, right? And especially if you're in a committed monogamous relationship, this is the only place you get to express your sexuality, right? So your romance and sexuality are all kind of tied in together. And what happens is what we need to kind of create attraction in our romantic life, sexual attraction, is polarity. And so there is a dance between the masculine and the feminine. And that doesn't just mean men and women, okay? That man, woman, that means masculine energy, feminine energy. In your romantic life, I don't care which one you take. You just got to be your authentic sexual self. And so whichever is your authentic dominant sexual energy. We want to create polarity. What we feel when it really works and we feel that attraction, there's that polarity between masculine and feminine, between giving and receiving. So the romantic part of your relationship, to leave it up to chance is foolish. Okay. That part of your relationship, the passion part of your relationship, needs to be treated like a garden. And I teach it as the fire triangle. I sort of bring science into it, and there's fuel and there's spark and there's air. You need space in your relationship. You need spark. You got to take care of yourself. You want to stay attractive for each other and show that you care. And that love, that fuel, is really all about all of that shared experience and love and honoring and celebrating of each other that you experience over time, right? So romance, particularly over the long haul, really requires a little bit of attention, and you got to pay attention to the actual energetic science of it all, right? You gotta have some air in your relationship. You gotta have some room. You gotta have some spark. And, you can't just leave it to chance. It's not going to happen just like sitting on the couch, drinking beer, watching Netflix. It's not going to happen that way. So, religion. Lots of couples can share different religion and have a very successful relationship. Where it usually comes into play, because religion is part of your values, beliefs, and rules, right? So if you're life partners, again, remember, difference between being in love with somebody and being life partners with somebody. To be life partners with somebody, it really helps to have harmonious values, beliefs, and rules. And so where this often becomes a conflict really is in having children, right? And how we're going to raise the kids. And And in dating, it can be an issue if, say, you believe in not having sex until marriage, but you're dating on regular websites where that's not most people's rule. Then you're bumping up against this conflict where this person wants to include sexuality as part of getting to know each other, and you're like, no, I don't do that. You gotta marry me first. So big difference, right? So you want to like fish in the right pond. So, so yeah, that's, I mean, you know, we could talk like for 8 years about that. So, rituals. Oh, rituals are so, I love this one because, rituals created in the relationship, they can create romance. You can have rituals around romance. You know, you can know when the candles get lit and the music goes on. There's some good times in order. And I mean, I sort of think of, you know, Mark opening my door and stuff. That's actually kind of a ritual. It's a dance that we do. And sometimes I get a little bit like, oh my God, I just want to open my own door. But I'm so glad that I wait, because then he comes around and he opens my door and I get out and I say thank you and we have a little moment, and then he watches me walk in front of him. And it's just this thing. It's our dance. It's what we do, and we do it all the time. And sometimes our friends laugh at us because they're like, we're late for the reservations. You got to really fucking open her door? Like, are you kidding me? We're like, yep. That's what we do. So that's part of our ritual. And that ritual, that dance actually can sometimes bridge the gap. Like, let's say there's some discomfort, you know, like let's say he shows up really late and I'm kind of annoyed. When I let him open my door for me, he knows it's kind of this unspoken, like, yeah, you're still my man. I'm your girl. I'm still here. We're still doing our dance. I'm still dancing with you. I just kind of got to like, just kind of get over it a little bit, you know, but it kind of becomes, that ritual becomes that bridge, you know, between sort of the irritation and like, okay, we're going to go have a good night now. Right. So, so yeah, rituals are, they can be really, really simple and create romance in your relationship. So yeah, so that's all the Q and R, and I will see you tomorrow for the letter S, for the sexy letter S. Okay. Mwah. Bye for now.